What's up, Glory Gang? Welcome back to another Tips and Tricks with Austin. Today we're going to talk about these really cool lights. They're super awesome. Let me talk about them. So here's the deal. They're tubes, they're lights, they're bright. They have light that come out of the tubes.
Yeah, bro, that's not going to work.
Why?
You're just not doing it right.
Fine. You just do it then. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another gear review. And like I said, we're going to be reviewing the Nanlite PavoTube 6C Mark II, or maybe whatever they want to call it, but the PavoTube II 6C. And this is currently the only PavoTube that has a 2 next to it. I think it's because they're going to be releasing the 30C and 16C in the Mark II, and there are a host of improvements in the second generation of tube, as they call it, versus the first gen. As you can see, I have 4 of these in front of me, and we have picked up 4 of these in 2 light kits. They come as single lights or in 2 light kits, and a price of a single light will run you about $89 in the US, which is super affordable for what they do, but these are 10-inch tubes. They are RGB WW, just like the version 1 of the PavoTubes were. So it's not only your RGB full color spectrum, but it's also your white, your tungsten, and your, I guess, opposite of that. It's not daylight. It's like 7000K. So you have both ends of the spectrum with white light, and they are very similar in a lot of ways to the originals, which we own 2 30Cs that are lighting me here and here right now. But they are shorter. Obviously, we wanted to get some smaller lights really that we can kind of tuck up into places. There's definitely uses for these as kickers. They make great backlights that you can put up on a lightweight stand. You don't have to have sandbags. I mean, if you aren't doing it correctly, you still need sandbags, but you shouldn't need sandbags. With a lightweight boom pole, you can put these up over somebody. You can put them anywhere, and we're going to talk about that. So what are some features of this? I will not talk about features probably that I've already talked about on the Gen 1. If you would like to see my review of the 30C, you can click right here. Down, Darren says down here. You can click right here to watch my review of the 30C that goes through all the functions. I believe that the 30C and the 15C share, but the 6C is actually not available in the first generation. They just came out with it, and it's only the PavoTube II. So what are some differences that the PavoTube II has? Well, as you can probably see right off the bat, they got rid of the weird claw-shaped end caps that stick out about yay far on both sides, which is awesome because not only does it look cleaner and better, but they added 1/4-inch threads to both sides of these. So if you want to mount them to a mini tripod or anything else that uses a 1/4-inch thread, you can do so. So that's first really great improvement that I think they did. I think it really cleans up the look, makes them look just like Asteratubes essentially now. That's kind of, I think, the model that they're using to refine their products, which is great because they're still way cheaper and they're awesome compared to the price of the Asteratubes. So other than that, they also added a nifty little feature here. So we'll just walk through the different modes. So first up, we have CCT mode. Pretty self-explanatory. You have dim and your color temperature adjustment. The one thing they did add in this new generation that I really like is a green magenta adjustment. You can actually tint it green or magenta depending on if it's giving you a cast, if you have a color checker or something like that that's saying, hey, it's a little bit green tinted, then you can push this towards magenta to kind of offset that. So it was a nice touch. Another nice touch that you'll see here on the screen is they have included a battery time readout, which is actually really nice because it adjusts as you change the color or the intensity of the light. So it actually pretty much, it seems like it knows, how much power every intensity level and even colors. If you're in a pulse mode, it will read the fact that it's pulsing. It's not a constant light, and it will adjust this battery runtime accordingly. And from the tests that we've done, nothing scientific, just using them on shoots, it's been pretty spot on. So that's really cool that they include that as well. We'll jump into the next mode here. HSI, this is exactly the same as the previous generation. So you have dim, hue, and saturation. Pretty standard there. Jumping over into the next one, this is hue loop. So these are your effects here. A little bit different. You don't just keep hitting mode to jump through the effects. You just go plus or minus on each of these. So Walking through these quickly, hue loop. This is a loop, same intensity, but it will loop through a range of hues. So you can actually set, okay, I only want it to be orange through blue instead of red all the way to red. So then you can set the start and end points of your hues. You can also jump down to speed and change that. If you want it to be like super fast, then you can do 2 seconds. So pretty cool. They give you a lot of different controls here. Jumping into the next one, welding, dim controls, color temperature. I haven't used this one yet. Green, magenta, speed, pause, and that's it. So a bunch of different like parameters for each of these, which is really cool. Explosion, same thing, your speed, your decay. So they let you set a lot of these specific things to get the effect that you want. This honestly is probably the most robust effect system that I've seen on a light. We have the 120D up above me. That has a few different presets, but as it is just a daylight light, it can't do what this light can. But even over the first generation, I mean, there's probably an extra 10 effects, I feel like, and each one of those effects has different parameters that you can set to customize it to what you need it to be, which is really cool. So moving on, we'll skip through explosion, firework. You can pick a color. I wonder if you, okay, so you can pick the number of colors, it looks like, which is cool. So 3, 6, 9. So the number of different colors, that's cool. Speed and decay once again. Bad bulb, we'll just kind of run through some of these. I'm just showing you that they have so many of them. Speeds for each of these, as well as the full control of your color temperature, green, magenta tint, and your brightness, of course. Bad bulb, disco. We actually use this one for a shoot, and I'll talk about the other benefit of this light here in a second, but we use this as a shoot. We literally just stuck it up to the ceiling, and it worked perfectly as like a disco area light. So these lights are really practical, and that's what I love so much about them, is that these effects are not gimmicky. They are legitimate, and you can use them on professional shoots, and we already have, and that's why we're reviewing these products. And by the way, Nanlite didn't buy any of these. We paid our own money for these. This is not a sponsored review. This is our honest opinion. So there's that. Moving on, disco, candle, fire mode. You can set your color temperature here. Of course, you probably would want to go more down to like 2700 if you're actually doing candlelight. The one thing I will say, I don't feel like this is really 2700. I think that all of the 2700s on these lights look a little bit cool compared to what 2700 actually looks like, but that's a topic for another day. Paparazzi, TV, police car. This one's not as useful as the 30C because the 30C actually looks like a cop car bar light and can alternate the place of them. But if you just need it as like a background accent, I could see that you could maybe use this. Storm mode. This one tripped me up on the last one. I'm not entirely sure how to use this mode. So this is storm mode. And oh wait, there. Oh, so you press it. So the storm mode, you literally can like trigger a lightning strike by hitting the enter button. It's my lightning sound effect. But it looks like it just does it at an interval that you set now instead of having to physically press a button to get it to work. Hue pulse, this one's cool. So you can just set a single hue and have it pulse at a speed that you choose. So that's really cool. CCT pulse, same thing, but with your color temperature values. Hue flash, pretty self-explanatory. Single hue and it flashes at the desired interval. CCT flash. Intensity loop, this is kind of cool because you can set a hue, you can set a color temperature, and then you can have it just pulse. The next one is CCT loop, so it'll just loop through different color temperature values. I'm not sure why you would use that one, but if you can figure out a way, leave a comment below. Hue loop, this one will just loop through colors, again, like I said, and that wraps up the effects. So we'll jump back into color temperature, and then there's a menu on here. So this LCD display is really nice. It's super simple to use. There's literally 4 buttons, and that's how you kind of navigate everything. So that wraps up all of the different effects of these new tubes. Like I said, there are multiple more than in the version 1, and they all seem fairly useful for the most part. Love that you can customize the parameters. The next thing that I love that they implemented on the generation 2 of these tubes is they actually put magnets in the end caps of these. So I actually really enjoy the beveled design that they have with these as opposed to the rounded Astera tubes, because it makes it almost wedge-like, where you can kind of put it up like this, you can put it flat, you can put it facing up. So it almost has different rotations that it will just stay in, as opposed to like a perfectly round tube that would just roll away. So I like that design choice, but in addition to being able to do that, they put magnetic plates in these bevels. Obviously you can stick them together like that, which we have used before. It wouldn't probably be the primary use that it was designed for, but what it was designed for is sticking to other metal things. So I cannot tell you, just having these a couple months, the number of times that we've been in a shooting situation where we're like, hey, this would be really cool if we could just add a little bit of light or add a disco ball effect or whatever it might be. And we're like, oh, hey, there's a metal air vent up there. Cool. Let's just clip it to the air vent and turn it to whatever we need it to do. But just having the built-in magnets will save you so much time in a lot of situations. It doesn't always work. There's not always something metal that you can clip them to, but it's just a really nice feature to include for an $89 tube light that has all of these features. It just seems like they're adding more, and it's really just sets it apart, I think, from other products. So having magnets built in is a huge feature and a huge plus for the price, which I would say is another big pro. Like I said, these are $89 per light. You can also get a 2-light kit of them for like $180 or something that come with little tabletop tripods, which are kind of nice. They're also hand grips. And if I have any wedding filmmakers out there watching this, I will tell you, these things, we used them at our last couple weddings, and they made such a huge difference. Being able to bring a quality light that's bright enough, and honestly, there's a little bit of softness to it. It's not, it's not a softbox by any means, but it's softer than you just putting like a little cube light on top of your camera and following people around with it. And the ability to have someone just walk around and carry this and add light wherever you need it, backlight people. We've turned them to different colors, party modes. We've used all of these modes at weddings, at dance parties. We've used them where the DJ did not have lighting at a wedding. And so we had to really provide it. And between the 30Cs and these 6Cs, we were able to not only light up the whole dance floor, but we could kind of carry these around and really accent lighting wherever we were shooting. And so the ability to take them with you, just grab them, take them wherever you need them, put them wherever you need them, is just a huge plus and a huge benefit to these lights, especially at their price point. And with that, that's been the review of the Nanlite PavoTube 6C. If you have any other questions, let me know. I'm really hoping Nanlite will release a 30C and a 15C version, because we will absolutely be getting them right away. These things are game changers. If you are a run and gun filmmaker, if you're a wedding filmmaker, you need to have some of these lights in your kit. But let us know if you have any questions. There's links down below for all of the products that we use. And until next time, this has been Austin with Gear Talk, and we'll see you in the next review.